Demonstration. The highest passageway is 26 meters from the ground. The highest point of the museum is 53 meters. Between the two, nothing. 27 meters of empty space that is inaccessible to the visitor. That is half the atrium. It would be possible to remove the whole of the upper part of the museum without touching a single painting hung on the walls. The relationship between the inside and the outside is totally upset by this loss of reference. On the outside, there are other reference marks to see. There is the material for each type of shape. The cladding of the classic galleries is in stone, square or rectangular. The galleries with rounded forms are clad in titanium. Titanium gives the building its identity. A skin comprising 24,000 square meters of metal plates. The repetition of sheets, folded and slightly bowed, emphasizes the movement. The museum is covered in scales to capture the light. The effect as the sun sets is guaranteed. I spent a lot of time trying to understand the light in Bilbao. The steel that I was meant to use in the beginning gave off nothing at all in the light of that region. The metal seemed to be dead under a grey sky, but quite by chance we found that titanium is very well suited to this sort of light. Most buildings can't afford this sort of metal because it's very expensive. By some miracle, the price of titanium suddenly dropped lower than the price of stainless steel. That has never happened again since, so I've never been able to use it anywhere else. In designing his museum, the architect made a real urban project. He created a new crossroads contiguous with the city. The railway line between was roofed over by an open space. This space is at the end of one of the city streets. It becomes a meeting place and redefines the riverbank. On Sundays, walkers rediscover the Nervian River that had formerly been neglected by the city. Thanks to a concrete ramp, they can rise above the water. A pond gives the impression that the river washes the walls of the museum. At the end of the building, the bridge, a gigantic metal rival, cuts across it. The museum absorbs it, passing below and re-emerging behind in the form of a tower. Stairs lead from the promenade along the riverbank to connect discreetly with the bridge. The architect brings the promenade a full circle and back to the city, leaving behind a hollow tower, a simple two-sided theatrical facade. When I designed the tower, I thought of a sail. There is a moment when you're sailing and the boat goes about and you face into the wind. Just for a fraction of a second, the sail quivers. I caught that moment. That is what I try to do with my buildings. Giving them an impression of movement pleases me, because that makes them part of the greater movement of the city. The buildings are part of life, and they change. There is something transitory about them. The association of an important cultural foundation, political goodwill, and an unbridled architecture has transmuted base metal into gold. This can be called the Bilbao effect. The industrial city has become the city of a cultural monument, the Guggenheim Museum of Bilbao.